I think the story developed over a series of what we normally do is rehearse for a couple of hours and then talk for a couple of hours, and I think we just developed the story over a series of chats.
I seem to remember early on we liked the idea of getting the dogs involved somehow. I think we were going to have scientists, we were going to do something to a dog to make it giant. I seem to remember that. We were going to have a giant dog. And we changed that. I think we felt that the song was quite serious sounding, and that would be overtly comic in its nature.
And then basically it really got down to the nitty gritty of it. It's when Gary storyboarded it.
That's you, yeah.
What's so funny? Look, and there's your little shoe, look. Hitting the accelerator. Then your wheel spins and off you go.
And then some of the stuff was left out because we didn't have time to shoot it. So the story was a bit more complex, and there was more plot, if you like, than we finally actually showed.
Well, this whole idea for the car chase started when I acquired an infinite number of cars. I had a couple of spare Ford Fiestas going, one of which, unfortunately, it wasn't doing so well, and we decided that it's going to have to be scrapped, and we thought, why not give it a bit of a send-off. Another helper, actually, Chris, he's good with spray paint, and he managed to paint both cars with the logo of the Science Corporation that was obviously evilly experimenting on dogs during the video, Gen-X. So we had this logo painted on both the cars.
At the end of the video, when we died, we wanted to shape-shift into lizards. So when we died, our human form ended and we reverted to our natural lizard state. And unfortunately, the song's not all that long, so we ran out of time, so that got dropped. But that thinking was behind the names, because lizards, you know, you can't trust a lizard.
This song, as you'll see this video on YouTube, is referred to as Lizards. Now, certain people have come to me and said that song is not on the album. I'm afraid you're wrong. You just have to look harder. If you knew Japanese, you would know that the song is on the album, but it is named as the Japanese translation of Lizards, which is perfectly obvious on the album sleeve.
The Japanese connection is that, I think, is there a Japanese connection? We just wanted to put it in Japanese. I don't know.
There was parts of the film where I was supposed to do some kind of commando role, diving out of the car, rolling across the field, jumping up with my gun in my hand, ready to shoot dead the evil scientists. This part I was dreading the most because I'm no natural at rolling, it would seem. And this is a scenario where I need to roll, so...
Have you been practicing?
A little, but I have to say not on sharp bits of stone. and I have a little worry, to be honest, while the director's gone, that I'm not going to pull this off. He assures me I could do the worst role in the world and get away with it on this shot. I might do something even worse than that.
And bless her, she's not that happy doing the roles. I think she feels that she's not that good at them.
I think Selena is one of the most talented people I know in many things, except for commando roles. And we had to bring out a member of Commando Role Incorporated to help her with the commando roles.
Practiced this a lot. I even got my coach in, Claire Bott, thank you Claire, to give me a bit of pointers, help out. Still on the shoot, it wasn't great.
Okay.
Oh, sweetheart.
I'll be honest, it wasn't great, and you'll probably see the takes of me attempting it, everyone else in the crew being able to do it, aside from me.
The bullet holes in the cars was interesting because we talked about it for ages, and we had discussed different things.
And whatever we did, however we made these bullet holes, we'd need it to be quick. And I experimented in the sort of weeks before with drills, trying to drill holes and stuff, and none of it really worked.
Finally, I don't know where it came, I think Selena suggested a pickaxe.
A pickaxe would do it. So I quickly went, I think the day before or something maybe, and just bought a brand new shiny pickaxe with the big price tag on it still, and just there we were, just pickaxing the holes away in the bonnet. And yeah, it was great fun. Yeah, it was good. You get slightly square bullet holes actually, but you know.
My costume was inspired because we were obviously lab technicians, and we had our little names on there, which I was Dr. Skink.
My costumes were dictated to me by someone else. I don't remember having much cool, except I had to go and shell out lots of money to buy new clothes.
And I felt that as soon as I put that lab coat on, and the rest of the costume, I just became Dr. Skink like that.
I kill you! I kill you!
I felt he was a good actor because he managed to stay in character majority of the time he was wearing that lab coat.
Dr. Skink uses to look deeper into the problems.
He became Dr. Skink. He spoke in what I can only assume is a Russian accent.
We take a bear, we rip it apart.
I think overall he was certainly the best able to take on the character, and I think if you speak to him you'll find he does actually still have that character, and we really like the old Russell back.
And I actually enjoyed being quite evil. I don't know if that says something about my psyche, but yeah, and the costumes helped me to become evil straight away.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting pyrotechnics in this film. I'm not quite sure how it works, but there's a bit of gunpowder involved as well.
The squibs were invented by Gary because he's got some way of using, don't try this at home kids, using like crackers or party poppers and adapting them.
Again, quite a few years ago I was making films and I wanted to have the bullet hits going off. So what we'd do is I figured out when I was about 16 or something that if you get party poppers and empty all the rubbish out and you put flour in there and it will puff the flour out, although you do kind of need to boost it a bit to get a bit more power. So you need to kind of put some gunpowder down in the neck of the party popper to give it that boost. But now what we've got is these, they're called electric matches, and it's basically it's like the power of a match, but you just hook it to a 9-volt battery, and then when you complete the circuit,
Action. Bang.
it pops. So then you can mount them in, really you can hide them away, and as long as you can run a wire to it, you can just set them off there. So we used a lot of them, but and they take a while to make, and you know you got a lot of preparation for them. But ironically, a lot of the time we just use computerized squibs anyway, just fake computer dust. So a bit of a wasted effort. That's all right.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'm gonna die! There was one interesting point where I was told that I'd have to reverse the car as if doing the J-turn with these squibs pointing at me, and I did raise the point. I'm sure you're not supposed to point party poppers at people, so what about this? And I was told, don't worry, it's just flour, can't hurt you, organic, it's fine.
Stand by.
Drove backwards, the squibs went off.
Bang.
I felt a bit of wood hit my eyeball. I was a little concerned that I might be blind. Turned out the party popper with the X on contained small shards of broken match, which could have blinded me, but these things happen.
The J-turns were dangerous.
So I'd done some J-turns, but it was a while ago, and it'd been done on loose gravel.
Gary was trying to teach me how to do a J-turn because I'd never done one before the video, So Gary gave me a lot of advice about exactly how to go about it.
And so on, and she went off and had a practice or two out in the field, safe, away from any obstacles.
My first few, I have to say, were pretty weak. Not a lot of turning.
She did one or two that weren't so hot, and then she got into the swing of it, and yeah, it was good. But we had to do like a whole lot of these, like 30 or 40 of these J-turns for various takes and angles and so on.
Gary decided that he wanted one with a different camera angle, which didn't require me being in the car driving, so he said, I'll do it.
It's fun watching those J-turns. I wanted to get in there and have a go.
I think I will, because I'm just eager to have a go myself. I'm going to try and I'll try and spin it.
Oh really?
I want to try and.
So on one of the ones where it really didn't matter that it was me and not Selena, I took to the wheel.
Obviously the expert taught me, so I thought great, brilliant. So we all watched, stood back a little bit just in case, we all watched, and then Gary comes in around the corner, reversing, spun the wheel. I'm guessing used the brakes a little excessively. You know, that's what happened. Almost hit the barn. Sorry about that, Murray, but we didn't quite hit the barn, but it was pretty close.
God, that's close.
When you don't care.
It's a good example of the pupil excelling the means of the instructor there, because I wasn't very good at them.
Highly dangerous stunts committed at a high level of precision.
But it was fun, but I had another couple of goes, and I think I did alright in the end there.
That looked great.
He's happy with that.
Wow, yeah.
We had a lot of help. No one was paid, but we had a lot of help from one of our friends, Jeremy.
And his role, he was primarily the camera operator on the days he was there. We got him on the days when we knew that we would need the more complicated shots where we had, say, 2 cars driving at once and filming from a 3rd car, and so we would get him along for those ones.
We had a great help from young George, who is the son of the owner of the farm, Murray. George was desperate to be involved. He's very interested in our band and filming, so this was an ideal vocation for him.
He was a real help actually. He ran around and he was very resourceful, and he knew the farm well, so he was able to whisk things up that we needed in a hurry. Hammers, nails, power outlets to charge things. Yeah, he was good to have around, very enthusiastic, and we even managed to jam him in car boots and stuff to do a bit of filming, because sometimes, you know, we were physically too big to get in a Fiesta boot with a camera, so George in the boot, jam him in there. It was good.
We had Gemma Binstead, who did some great driving again, and some great help with a bit of filming of this footage.
Hello, I'm a Response Collective fan, and I've won a competition to come and hang out with them while they're filming for their video. So
Tom was very helpful. He did more of the practical side of things, making equipment using real guns. Sweet ass!
Yeah, I was the quartermaster for the guns.
There's a lot of guns in the film, no idea where Gary got them all from.
They were all imported from Russia, as far as I know. I asked Gary, he said, Russia. So I just do, I don't know. That's all I know.
We've got these.
Sweet. Where do you get these wonderful toys?
Russia.
And I saw him with this box and was wondering what was in there, and he started pulling out gun after gun after gun, and I was thinking, will this end? No, it didn't, because then we went out to the car, machine guns, incredible amount of guns.
The ones used in the film, we had 2 Heckler & Koch P7 M13s. Then we ditched them and we go, Russell has a Scorpion BZ61 and I have a Micro Uzi.
That was a little bit close, yeah.
Selena uses a Beretta M92F. Selena's character, upgrades to an M16, and I was using an AK-47. None of the guns ever fired, so every time a gun is firing, it's been a bit of work to make it look like it's firing. Of course, step one for that is having the actor look like they're firing a gun.
Short, sharp wobbles.
Yeah, I'm probably wobbling alright.
Because you get somebody who just doesn't look like they're firing it. You need the aggression and the power of the gun there.
This is where we have gun training on the job.
So you got to get that right, and then you got to obviously put some sound effects on. That's good. Then you got the flash out the end of the gun. You got to put that on, and then often bits of the gun move, so you got to animate the bit of the gun move in the action, and then it kicks a bit of smoke out, so you got to put some smoke on, and then sometimes you'd see a shell eject, so you got to put a shell on, and yeah. So you know, to make the guns fire is a bit of an effort, but I think it is worth it.
Oh, the gate was such an exciting moment, particularly for me, because I was the one who had to drive through it.
I didn't know anything about the gate until the day we arrived and there was a gate, and I was very surprised. I was like, where the hell have they got that gate from? And overnight people had been building a gate, I understand, or some days before.
Tom, thank you very much, Tom, managed to craft an identical replica of the farm gate with pallets and wood and different construction devices. We then placed this identical gate on the track next to the real one, and I had to drive straight through it.
And I was fortunate enough I got to ride in the car that smashes through the gate. Selena was driving it, but I was in the back, kind of hidden, holding up the camera above my head there to get the shot from the inside of the car. Because we had 3 cameras on that, so you can only do it once.
Remember, go,
Fast
go,
as
yeah,
possible.
go for it now.
Yeah?
Yeah, as fast as you can. Don't brake, do not brake at all, ever.
You'll probably see a clip on this video of me being encouraged to continue as opposed to stopping.
Just keep going. Keep it going. Keep on going.
Because your tendency is, when you're about to crash into something stationary, is to stop.
Keep going, don't brake, don't brake, don't brake, don't brake.
I was driving behind, obviously I was in the car behind chasing, and when Selena went through it, it obliterated it. It just went to dust, and I've never seen anything like it.
And overall, it was a good stunt. Right.
That worked out alright.
Well done, Tom.
The coded DNA, well, I don't really know what that's all about. I really must check up on that.
Yeah, there's been so much buzz on the internet, on all the forums about what is the DNA.
The coded DNA is... Coded DNA, yeah. The coded DNA, of course, in the coded DNA...
But we know what's on that DNA, and we may yet reveal that in another video.
I don't know why I don't know what the coded DNA is. The coded DNA is a mystery.
I can't see why should there be any shadow of doubt. I suggest you watch the video again and get back to me.
The hardest part, all I remember, the hardest thing for me was actually a bit of acting that Gary asked me to do, which was just to imagine 2 sparks, had a clamp between these clamps, and I had to act that the sparks were there. And that was the hardest thing for me to do. I just kept doing it, do it again, and obviously my acting wasn't good enough. But so that was the hardest, but subsequently it didn't make it in the final edit.
I think generally the whole process is difficult. Luckily I have my trusty storyboards with me, so I kind of do all the main thinking in this sanctuary of a house, in the warm, in the calm, and then just rely on my little drawings on the actual day.
Do that one, but
of course things go wrong, you have to change the plan anyway, but at least you got some backbone to work around.
It was all quite hard, I suppose. There was shots from lots of different angles. The moving car stuff was always difficult to get right.
Yeah, try.
Yeah, Selena does manage to drive the car and stand up, point the other way and fire a gun. Not easy to do, not easy.
And what's the? Can you do it so that you've got like all your spring in your legs, so you can literally just go?
It's quite hard because I'm worried I'm going to break the gun.
Right. But of course, to actually do that, it's just not going to happen.
Look at what we have to do in order to make it possible. Yeah, you're supposed to be driving and just quickly do it.
I can't even stand up with the chair up, let alone anything else.
To actually achieve that, we had obviously we had somebody else really driving the car. Obviously, this passenger seat has to be all the way back, fully reclined. You need to be turned round. You need to be swiveled 180 in the seat, so you're actually facing backwards. You need to be all sort of half standing up from the start, and yeah, it's not at all feasible.
Look at them go out there, look.
They're loving it. Look,
they're just doing too much of this now.
Look, she's getting better at coming in and out though. Look at that, it's great.
And now with the fisheye, it'll just look slightly closer, won't it? It'll be...
Yeah, but see, the thing is, the fisheye was more to establish the geography of her, because you see the whole car and the sunroof.
Yeah.
So we'll probably show that maybe just the first time she comes out.
And then the next one will be close.
It will be just a close one, because you already know where she is by then.
Right.
Not that you didn't, obviously, but...
He's the director, he's got the vision of, and I say he did the storyboard, and he's got a great eye for knowing where to put the camera.
People have said that maybe I was a little over-enthusiastic about how close I was willing to get to some of these J-turns.
She's saying get out of the way.
Don't worry, I'll move.
I was sat in the driver's seat looking in my mirror waiting for him to be ready and saying, come on, come on.
Me. She wants me to move.
You just stand right with me.
A little concerning because he seems to be in my path. But I went for it because he told me to go.
And I was quite aware of Gary about to be killed.
And it's true, I did nearly get hit.
Holy f***, that looked amazing on his camera. I'm sitting here myself.
But in fairness, we got quite a good shot out of it, so I think it warrants it. Yeah.
Turned out I did almost hit him. It was incredibly close, and I think got a very good shot, but could have killed him in the process.